Okay, let's take a look at some of the top stories we'll be tracking. So Finance Minister Tito Mboweni is expected to present the final version of his economic strategy along with the medium-term budget statement this afternoon.
Deputy Minister of the Department of Water and Sanitation, David Mahlobo, will deliver an opening address at the Water Symposium at the Indaba Hotel in Johannesburg.
And then police provincial commissioners will brief the portfolio committee on their plans to fight crime in the different provinces.
All right, that's the big stories to follow. Let's have a look at your social media trends now this morning. And the first one is, gosh, well, this is what we woke up to this morning. It was just a big conversation around.
And of course, you and I had to orientate ourselves about what
to
this
figure
was
out
all
what's
about.
going on. So, yeah, I mean, we both read it. So, Lady Zama has come out with a very long thread talking to her and a relationship that she held with Java. Is that correct?
With Java, yes.
Okay. Do you want to go into it? Go for it. You talk about it.
Essentially, it would seem as though she was in this relationship with Java. People have been speculating for the longest time that Java is actually married. And for some reason, this relationship went on in spite of all of that. And then yesterday, as you say, there was this long thread. And she was admitting, to being in this relationship. And also came out saying that she was sexually abused in this relationship at least once. She was verbally abused and all of that. And of course, as you can imagine, you had people then coming out on both sides, those who were supporting her and those who were supporting Java in all of this. And some saying, but we told you you he was married.
Yeah.
But others saying, well, Java obviously did a good job of hiding his wife.
Wow. So just to read a couple of the tweets that she put out. So did you ask about his wife? And then she says he swears up and down he's not married. So any more questions I'll answer. I wish this was for attention. I wish it was for a float. I wish it was for anything but the truth. I'm just tired of you. Who believes the woman who was abused or hurt, threatened by their favorite person? Was I loved? No. Was I hurt? Yes. Is it true? Yes. You looking for attention? No. Did you love him? I thought I did. Were you afraid of him? Yes. You're not over him. I wasn't into him to begin with. Did you ever think you loved him? Yes. Were you abused? Yes. The stupid articles that say we broke up because of circumcision and weird stuff like that, shame on you. Spending one day a month with a person can't be deemed a relationship. So on that, shame on me being peer pressured into staying into an abusive relationship. It's a shame. And it goes on and on and on. And she talks a lot about abuse and why you do this. And then just finally spent a whole 2 years fighting within myself, asking myself, how did it happen to me? A whole Lady Zama. How do you become a victim when all you've ever wanted was love? How do you survive? How do you piece your life together again? How do you? She asks. And it goes,
it's
really,
a whole
it's a whole thread of messages
that you can go and have a look at. So at number one right now, I'm just looking, trending South African trends right now is Lady Zama, followed by Java at number 2. It's
quite frightening.
So that's what people are talking about in the main.
This kind of gets me is this one tweet that she puts out, I couldn't tell anyone because I was ashamed. I never confronted my abuser. Can you believe for 5 months I couldn't look this person in the eyes because of sheer fear? But it's over now. It really is, and I think it's speaking to a lot of people. But it's amazing how many people are going at her for it. They still being
but
abusive
this is the thing.
towards her.
Abuse
So
is always complex. Why people come out is always complex. And it's easy to judge looking from the outside in.
Yeah, it really is. And Twitter is never the nice platform to go and find comfort, is it? Unfortunately, people just go at you. Let's move on to other trending topics, but those are the top 2 right now. Praveen, and this was all about yesterday.
Yesterday, the Eskom roadmap that was presented, and we saw in the news there the market's reaction to it, a negative one, and it would seem as though we are still left with questions. The roadmap, I'm not sure, addressed most of the questions that people had about Eskom and how it's meant to be saved and turned around. But we're going to have a discussion about that. I think we've got Zwelinzima Vavi coming in and Chris Yelland. So we'll speak to them about this particular roadmap, what came out yesterday regarding Eskom. I mean, Eskom is sitting on 440 billion rand worth of debt. That is 15% of our GDP.
Yeah.
Eskom debt alone.
Wow.
So it's a hectic situation. We cannot ignore Eskom, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, you know, I sat there yesterday and I couldn't help but think this was a piggy bank for people. Whoever needed $1 billion here, a couple of million there, it seemed you could go to Eskom and you can get it one way or another, which is very harsh. It's a harsh thing to say. It's a sad indictment, but that's what it seems happened at Eskom.
And it's still not turning itself around after...
Can it?
Well, one would have to ask.
The question is whether we have the answers. Do we know what to do with Eskom? From yesterday, we'll ask the people coming in whether they think this is going to set us on the right path.
Well, the only thing that really came out of yesterday was the minister coming forward and saying it's junk news to say that Eskom is going to be privatized. So that's what we do know. And the three entities that we've heard of before, more than that, I'm not sure. But let's see what your guests have to say about it.
It's going to be an interesting one, because one of the things that really stuck in my throat yesterday when Praveen Gordhan was delivering that roadmap was when he says, you know, we lose like between 10 and 15,000 megawatts of power, just like that. And I'm like, so is it okay for the minister to say that this is happening?
Yeah. And what are you doing about it? Like, how are we going to fix it?
Why is it okay? Why is that acceptable? And maybe there's too much that we just accept at face value.
Well, I know that's going to be a robust discussion, so we'll get to the bottom of that. And then finally, the last one, which is a big story. Unfortunately, unemployment rate, and people talking to that. Unemployment rate hits its highest level in more than 11 years. And, you know, people are just devastated by this. And this is what people are talking to, and they're saying, just a couple of tweets I'll read to you. It's so sad that the government would rather spend millions reminding us of OR Tambo than focus on the issues at hand. Any political decision does affect the economy. Look at how the US trade war with China, both were politically influenced, and the decisions caused a ripple effect to the rest of the world. And then it's another one. So the ANC deviated from the NDP goal of creating 10 million jobs within a 10-year period, 2 million in 10 years. It's good they reduced the number, because already they're failing and they won't even meet the 2 million target. So, you know, people are very upset by this.
I think for me, the worrying thing here is this is what we have as the official unemployment rate at 29.1%. The expanded rate
is much bigger, much bigger. We can see it on a daily basis.
And most people would say that is the real number. That's the true reflection.
Okay. All right, let's leave our trending topics at there. Most of these trending topics, of course, being discussed more in detail here on the program.